All right, so once this is set up, we're good to go. All right, awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and just share my screen. Hold on one sec. Cool. All right, so I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna log in here, and essentially what I'm gonna be covering today is campaigns and command. So kind of a little bit more of a deep dive going into some of the additional campaign functions in addition to your Facebook advertising. So to get started, I'm just gonna click on this red KW button here, and we're gonna go into campaigns. And I'm just gonna mute real quickly so I don't have any background noise. But if you have any questions as I'm kind of going through this, just let me know. In any case here, we're going to log into command. I'm going to go into campaigns. And then what I want to do from here is I want to go into the dashboard, which is essentially the screen I'm greeted with right now. You'll notice on the dashboard here, it has a little bit of an overview of accounts that I have currently connected. So if I go to connect more accounts, you'll notice I have my Facebook in here. You can also connect things like email, Google AdWords, and Twitter. Now, let's click out of this. You'll also notice on the right-hand side here, I can see which accounts I have set up for paid advertising and social posting. So basically, the difference between the two is that social post is going to be more so for like just regular business page posts. Think of it as like a seller. And then I have paid ads here that allows me to set up my sponsored Facebook ads. So that's the difference between the two. You can also manage these accounts from here as well. Again, it's just going to bring me to that same screen. They do have some quick posts in here as well. These are just things that you can use to create content on the fly, and that will post directly to your business page. They do have a nice little training section here too, so this will lead you to some of those KW Connect resources, and I highly recommend that if you're just looking for quick tips and tricks. So it's pretty awesome stuff. They do have advanced, what they like to call it, and that just has additional resources as well, but it all leads back to KW Connect. And later on during the class, I'll show you where you can find additional resources. All right, so let's get started. The first thing I'm going to be working with, I want to go over the paid advertising with Facebook ads. And then what I'm also going to do is go through some of the emails because they did introduce an emailing functionality in Command. And if I have some time, I will go into direct mailing as well. But if we go under create a new campaign, you'll see here that I have access to a handful of different types of campaign options: social post, search ad, social post, direct mail, and then emails. For me to create any sort of paid advertising, and a call, we'll say this campaign, I believe this, what is your goal? Basically, the goal is saying, like, what is the objective am I trying to run an ad to go off thing? Am I trying to attract buyers or attract? So depending on the type of ad you're trying to run, you have different brand aware, different goals. Somebody was saying my voice is breaking up. Am I all right now? Okay, I'm gonna keep going. If my voice keeps breaking up, just let me know. Still? Is it happening for anybody else or just Rosalia in here? Yeah, if anybody else is encountering that same issue, let me know, because I'm not in another area. Because it could be my connection. One second. Is that better for anybody? All right. I'm gonna keep going. If anybody else is having that problem, so that's better. Okay. All right, cool. So I'm just gonna keep moving forward then. Let me see if I can. Let me get into maybe a more quiet area. Let me see if I can move in somewhere. Okay. All right. So I think we're good. So just kind of getting back into it, and sorry for that little delay there. Basically, you have goals here, and that's just going to be an objective for what I'm trying to do with this ad. And I explained, whether or not I'm going to be advertising a listing. Do I want to attract buyers or sellers? There's all different types of objectives you can choose from. And the idea is that these will be something that as the AI grows inside of Command, it will be able to better adjust your advertising based on the objective you choose. So I'm just going to do attract buyers in this case, and I'm going to choose Facebook as the campaign channel. So I'm going to go set up campaign, and basically from here, what you can do is you can see here on the left-hand side is going to be my kind of like my editor, basically the setup. And then on the right-hand side is going to be the preview of that ad as I'm building it out. So let's go ahead and start. We're going to go ahead and just choose a listing. And I'm going to go all listing. And I'm going to just search for a listing in here. I'm just going to choose a random address. And I'll use this one here, 7004 Boulevard East. It just happens to be Bex in the office. So we'll use that one. All right, so as you choose that, what's going to happen is it's going to basically auto-populate the copy from the listing. So in this case, I have a bit of the copy here. I'm not going to use all this. So I'm just going to delete some of that. And then I'm going to say something like, can you right? So I'm just using a little bit more text here, and I might just pop in a couple emojis, just put some in there as well. And all right, yeah, I think that's okay. I'm actually adding another, see if I can find something a little bit more appropriate here. Hold on. And again, you don't have to use these, I'm just using it just to kind of spice it up a little bit. But let's go ahead and I'll put in a property one here. We'll just use a building, something like that. All right, cool. So basically from here, I'm just setting up the copy, and it has some of that already set up, as you can see. And I'm going to scroll down, and I'm just going to say like beautiful end unit now sale in Guttenberg. So something like that, just to kind of make it a little bit more apparent what this is for. Now for the description text, which is the text that below here, that's where it appears. I'm just going to put click learn more to see more information about this property. All right, so clean that up a little bit. There we go. Looks good. All right, so I'm going to save that ad text now. Ooh, I think I made a little error there. All right, I'm going to save that. So basically from here, you'll notice that as I'm going through the ad itself, these little check boxes appear, and it lets me know that this is actually completed. So that's now done. I can go to add media, And this is where I can then populate the images that appear in the ad as well. So let's say I want to add a couple more images here. Let's see, I'll use one of these views. We got one of the views here. All right, that's good. And I'm going to pop one of these in. All right. And then I'll use one more. Let's get a kitchen shot in there. Let's see. Use something like that. All right, very good. All right, so basically from here, I'm just setting up some of the this is for Facebook. Yep. So what I was doing was I'm setting up this carousel here, and you can choose up to 5 images. So right now I have 4. I think I'm going to just go with those for now. And we're going to save, add media. And what I'm going to do from here is I can go to configure, and this is going to allow me to do some of the channel options. Before I move into that real quickly, I just want to mention, I know some agents do ask me about advertising other agents' listings. I would say as long as they give you permission, you should be good to go. You can use, if they decide, you want to run an ad for their listing and they say it's all right, you can definitely go for it. Because some of the newer agents might not have something right away that they want to, advertise for. So having another agent's listing that they can kind of put out there for them, it's a great way to get exposure, but it's also a great way for them to go to their seller. Hey, I have an ad running on Facebook, and we're doing some lead gen with that. So it's a great way to kind of have something put together real quickly. So we're going to go ahead and move into Facebook ad, and I'm going to go ahead and hit configure. And this is where I can go ahead and now choose the page that I want to run the ad to. So in this case, depending on how many pages I manage under my personal account, you might have a list of multiple. If you're only running through one business page, you'll obviously just have the one that you're running. So I'm just going to use the city views one for this particular example. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to choose a lead gen form. Now you do have 2 options, and I do get this question quite often, what the difference between those 2 is. Lead gen form is going to be made specifically for generating leads using a contact form. And that contact form is auto-generated from Facebook, so I don't have to do anything to create it. It's just going to be done automatically. You can see here, you can also use a site or landing page. So what does that mean? Basically, it means that if I'm running an ad and I want to get it in front of the most people as possible, using this basically will allow, or Facebook kind of configures the algorithm so that ad will be placed in the most Facebook timelines as possible. So I've seen this before where agent will say like, well, I had like 20 something thousand impressions, but I didn't capture any leads. It's most likely, or it's most definitely because they had this option selected. So if you're looking just to have it go out into the most people as possible, definitely you can use this option. But if you're looking to really generate leads through this, this is the option you want to use. All right. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go where it says button call to action label. And you also have a follow-up destination URL here. So this is where I can then place, after somebody clicks through that ad, where are they going to be led to? So in this case, maybe I want them to go to a landing page for this particular listing. So I'm just going to use the example from our Market Center site. And I'm just going to find the listing on here. I'm just going to search for it. And we're going to search for Boulevard East. And pops up right here. So this is the one. And I'm just going to copy that link. So this link here, if you're using your agent site, it's basically going to be the same exact sort of landing page, but it's going to be your branding. So in this case, I'm using just the Market Center's general website. and I search for that listing, and here's the listing information. Looks good. So basically what's going to happen is when somebody clicks through that link, they're going to be brought directly to here. All right, so I'm going to click out of this. I'm going to delete that. And then under where it says follow-up destination URL, I'm just going to pop that in. And it's going to approve that, as you can see. Now, the last thing that I need to do is I need to set up my audience. So like, who is this going to be going out to? So in this case, I want to use those custom settings. And if I'm prospecting in that area, maybe I will use Guttenberg. But if I'm trying to target somebody who may be trying to move to Guttenberg, I might say I want to target somebody who lives in Manhattan, because maybe it's somebody who's looking to move out of the city to relocate, but they want to still live near the city because maybe they're working there, or maybe they just want to have that proximity or the views. So in that case, I'm just going to use Manhattan here. The 20-mile radius is about average, so I'm going to keep it that radius. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to change the interest. So I want to just kind of narrow this down slightly bit further. I'll do Zillow. I'm going to also do realtor.com. I'll do commuting. And we can also do some additional ones here. I'll do Trulia. Just kind of putting in some main interest here for that particular person I might target. Mortgage loans is another big one, so I'm going to choose that as well. I'll save selection here. I think I have a bunch that I want to use now. So then from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit save ad media, or save Facebook ad rather, sorry. And then from here, I have a duration and budget. It's the last thing I need to do. So here I choose the amount of days I want it to run for, what my campaign budget is. And as soon as I'm good to go with that, I hit save duration and budget. And then the last thing I need to do is hit publish campaign. So once I hit publish campaign, it's going to allow me to run this ad, and then we're good to go. So I'm actually going to just save this. And I saw some stuff pop up in the chat. Let me just go through there real quick. So has anybody used YouTube ads? I have not, and right now it's not integrated into Command to do those just yet. However, I've been hearing more about it lately, but I haven't done them myself. Then it says funny because IDX lets you just dump data listings. So if you do one, you need permission, but if you do a data dump, then you do not. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Maybe you want to just elaborate on that a little bit more. And then your last question, does this target ads to people with certain interests? How does Facebook know what user interests are? So basically, Facebook follows everything that you do. And it's also looking into things that you like through Facebook. So whether it be pages that you liked or articles that you've liked, it's using a lot of the data from the timeline feeds, and it's using that to create audiences via interest through Facebook. IDX is a data mining technique that a lot of real estate websites use. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing I can get around that with right now. But yeah, the IDX feed that we have, it's generating this listing information from basically all the MLSs. All right, so basically that's how the Facebook advertising works. Now, you'll notice here that I do have one that's actually running, and it's actually in pending review right now. So once you actually create the ad and you start it up, it's gonna go into a pending review phase for about, depending on when you start it, it typically takes a day to run. But I've noticed that sometimes that I have ads running basically the same day. So once it's pending review, basically you're just waiting, and then once it starts, you'll start seeing that these numbers will increase until it reaches that budget. So the other couple things that Command offers in regards to campaigns is emails, and it also offers direct mail. So in regards to the emails now, you can actually use this as a way to send out a bulk email blast to your database. So you might have had a list created in your database, and you can use that to send out emails through Command now. So the way that that works is if we go to create a new campaign and I go to email, from email, you can see here that I can, again, choose the objective. So I'm just going to use this as test mail. And it's going to ask me what my goal is. Is it to advertise listings? Do I want to attract listings, etc.? I'm going to use other for this right now. Actually, let's do advertise listing. And then it's going to ask me, where will this campaign run? So basically, you have the two options. I can do command email or I can do MailChimp. I'm going to keep it as command email because that's the one that's basically integrated into command right now that you can immediately start to use. And then I'm going to hit setup campaign. So as you can see, it's almost exactly the same setup as if I'm doing an email, like a Facebook ad. So here I have the left-hand side is the setup, and then on the right-hand side is going to be where my preview appears. So the first thing I need to do is I need to set up the recipient list. And you'll notice here I have one list in there currently. Now, if I wanted to create a list, basically all I have to do is hit create list. And it's going to go basically through my whole database here. And you see I have quite a few people. But I can also narrow it down based on specific tags. So maybe I want to do a list based on people who signed up through one of my Facebook ads. So I can go ahead and just choose that tag here. I'll do select all, and then maybe I'll do Facebook ad leads. And I'm just using that as the example here. I'll hit confirm. And basically what that does is it creates a list, but only for those people that were tagged with that particular tag. So it's those 3 people that are on this list. Sender and reply to email are going to go to my KW email. And I can also edit that if I wanted to in the settings. So if I wanted to change like how it appears in the email, I can do that. Now the subject, let's just say it's, you know, we'll do like a newly listed. And then I'll just do 123 Main Street and Fort Lee, NJ. All right, so that's the subject line. Now I need to design the content. So I'm going to hit select design. And you'll notice here that I have my templates, which are ones that I've created for myself. And you'll also notice that there's a KWRI template, which allows me to choose from a handful of ones that KWRI are providing to agents. So I'm just going to use, let's just do modern for sale. We'll do that one. So you'll notice here what it does is it generates this little template on the right or left-hand side rather. And if I go to preview to show you what it looks like currently, some of these things are merge fields. So a lot of the stuff that you see on that template will appear automatically, like my logo, information about myself. So I don't have to edit any of that, which is pretty awesome. So I'm going to X out of this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change out some of these fields here. So like, for example, this one, we'll double click on it. And I can edit the address. We'll just do 123 Main Street and Fort Lee. All right, we'll hit done. So that changes it on the template here. And I'm just going to edit the price information. Let's just say it's 400. So what I'm doing is I'm essentially double clicking on any of these text boxes, and that's going to allow me to edit them here. And we'll just delete the square footage. We don't need that. So you'll notice as I'm kind of going through this template, it's all going to be edited automatically, which is great. And I can keep previewing it just to see what it's going to look like as I'm doing that. Cool. So here I can add in some of the images and I'll replace those. And you'll notice here that I can also upload images, or I can go to listings and I can choose a property address. See if that comes up. Oop. Okay, we'll just search for that again. So here, I'll use this one. And I'll just choose some of those images to replace on the template here. Same thing, we'll do replace. And it looks like it doesn't keep hold of the listing that I selected. So I'll just go ahead and search for that again. And I'm going to choose some of these images here. Double clicking each time. And we'll do that once more. Northeast. Now that one disappeared, interesting. We'll do Sweatas here, so we have some of her stuff as well. We'll just do one of these outside shots. We'll hit done. So now if I go back and I preview this again, you're going to notice that now it has those images there. Looks good so far. I can add also text here. This can be just description text for the listing. I'm actually going to delete these. And I'm going to just drag in a new text box right underneath those photos. So it's just like one block. Let's see if I can get this correct. There we go. All right. And then I'll just double click and I'll just say this is description text for 123 Main Street, Wortley, NJ. Click the view button. Right. Go, just center that. I'll also bold it. There you go. And again, if I want to just see what it looks like, I can go and preview that. So you can see here, it's pretty clean. It's getting there. Almost done. So now I need to click the button because now I can edit where the button is going to. I can link that to a web page or a landing page I've created. Let's say I want to use a landing page that I've created. I can just go ahead and choose the landing page, or I can link it to a listing on my my website. So like if I want to use a web address, maybe it's a virtual tour link, you know, it could be a link back to my website, as I can go here. And I'll just use this one as the example. And I copied that link. We'll just paste it in. There we go. We'll hit done. So now when somebody clicks on that view listing, it's going to take them directly to that listing page. So basically from here, I'm pretty much done. I'm just going to go ahead and rename this 123 Main Street test template. So now I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to go ahead and hit save and exit. So once that's done, you'll notice here that it gives you a little bit of a preview just to see what it looks like. I can also hit the preview button on the top. And the merge fields here are going to auto-populate. There's a bit of a glitch right now with the template previews, but otherwise that will appear with the logos and my information at the bottom. And I saw something pop up in chat here, one sec. Just got kicked out. Let's see. Looks like you're back in here though. All right. This is also recording, so I'm going to post this later on too, so you'll be able to rewatch this if you need to. But basically from here, once I'm good to go, all I need to do from here is I can go ahead and send that if I wanted to. You can also schedule this. So if you wanted to have this scheduled to go out, you know, before the weekend, I can hit schedule and I can say I want to schedule this for the 30th, and then that's all set. And these templates will now live in my design library. So if I ever want to go back and reuse this, I can essentially go back and reuse the same template and just switch out the information, because now that I have it created, it's basically good to go. So I'm going to hit back. So that's basically how the new campaigns email editor works. I feel like it's very similar to MailChimp in a sense that it's, you know, you have the widgets on the right where you can drag and drop them in. But right now it's still fairly new, so there isn't as many templates as MailChimp. But again, this is going to be something that grows, and you can essentially customize those templates however you want, which is great. But yeah, what we just did was basically go over how you can set up those emails in here and get a nice little email template inside of Command. So the last thing I want to go over is direct mail. So in addition to your digital marketing, you can also do print marketing in Command as well. So whether you design the postcard within Command to set up and have sent out, you can also use this to create a template on the fly. So let's go ahead and do one of those. So we want to go to create a new campaign. You want to go to direct mail. And then from here, I'm just going to call this test campaign. And we'll just call this postcard. So it's going to ask me what my goal is. And we'll just do tracked buyers. And it's going to say find buyers who are looking for homes. Again, this isn't going to be too applicable to direct mailing, but again, you can select whichever one. Now, it has two options available here, default templates or upload a custom template. So if I'm doing a default template and I do setup, basically from here on the right-hand side, I can choose the template style. So you have 4 currently. I'll use default. So it's basically just a default template. What I'm going to do from here is I'm going to go ahead and put in a street address. So let's just say it's 7004, or actually, you know what, let's choose a listing. We're going to do a listing here. Do all listings. And I'm just going to go ahead and search for that address again. And we'll use the Boulevard East one. So I'll do Bex. It's going to auto-populate the details here. Listing status, let's just say it's currently just listed. Bed and bathrooms, we'll put in here. I don't know if it has that, but we're just going to do 2, 1, 2, and 2. All right. Hit save. Now for listing photos, you can choose one of the listing images here. They do recommend that it is high res. And I noticed like still in here right now, it doesn't necessarily populate the high resolution images. So I will want to replace that, which I'll just upload a new image there and put one of these in. Let's see if I have just like a decent one to use for an example here. One sec. Should have some high res files. Just trying to get a nice little interior shot there. One sec. Okay, just use this one. There we go, open. Still saying it's low res. All right, let me just Google search a quick image here. Homes. So that's the only snag that I can think of right now, particularly with the direct mailing. You want to make sure that you have a high res image uploaded. So typically when you're working with any sort of real estate photographer, like a professional photographer, they will give you 2 different file types, typically print and web. So you want to just make sure that the images that you're using are high res. Trying to get one as high res as I can. Let's see here. Let's see. See if I can, there we go. I'll just use this example here, right? Let's replace this with the desktop one. Okay, there we go. So as I'm doing this as well, and I'll just save this image here, you'll notice that I can preview the card and it does essentially auto-populate the information as I'm filling it out. So right now, it has some of the information on there. Let's keep going. So the other step here is the agent information, which I'll use. I'll just keep that there. So the editor is almost exactly the same for each type of campaign you're setting up, as you can see. So basically the left-hand side is going to be like the information that I'm populating. The right-hand side is going to be a preview. So as I keep filling this out, there's going to be a updated preview on here. All right, so let's keep going. We have a couple more steps here. I'm going to put in the address for the office. All right, let's go ahead and just populate that in here. Verify that, confirm. So it needs that just as the return address, so that's why it's asking me. Now for targeting, you'll notice that you have two options for targeting as well, local targeting or target my database. I haven't really done much with the target my database option, but local targeting will allow you to set up like a prospect radius. So if I'm trying to target a, let's just say I'm trying to target around where this address is, you can do local targeting and that allows you to target basically a radius around that home. Then you have your budget here. So this is basically where I set up, how many postcards I want to send out. Let's say I want to do 200 homes. We'll hit save. You can also choose different postage standards. Just do first class. All right, so basically once the card is done, we can preview it again here. One thing I will say is that you want to make sure that the card preview here looks good, because after you move on to step 2, you're unable to actually go back to edit it. So preview the card as you're kind of editing this just to see what's going on. And then what I can do from here is I can hit configure targeting. So that's going to be my second step. And it uses a system called Real Mailers to generate the addresses that it's going to send to. And right now what it's doing is it's targeting basically around the radius of that home. And in this case, I believe it's actually setting it up right around that building. So it's probably going to be like 200 homes. What I can also do is if I want to switch this, if I want to, maybe target somewhere along here, I can just choose another radius. And you'll notice here what it does is it auto generates that radius around that area. And it's all going to be within the radius of this parameter as well. So like which, bed and bath types. I can switch these depending on what I'm trying to target specifically. Let's actually delete this and I'm going to recenter that. So perhaps I'm going to target just that building because this is the galaxy, so it's going to target that building. Let's go ahead and we'll just configure some of these here. And we'll do square footage. Square footage we can actually leave. It's not going to affect this. We can do year built, year last sold. Maybe we want within the last 10 years. Actually, let's do this. We're going to move this up. Okay. And last sale for price. If I want to edit that as well, I can also do that. Then basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit next. And here it's going to generate the new preview of the card. You'll see I have an order summary. So this is going to give me 200 cards. The postage is free. And if you do this before 3 p.m., the processing date is the same day. So like basically this will go out the same day as long as you send it out before 3 p.m. Estimated delivery is 4 to 6 days. And I'm just gonna give this a second to preview load so you can see what the actual proof looks like. All right, so let's go ahead and view a larger preview. Here's the front of the card. Here's the back, looks really good. Now I didn't add a headshot or the logo from my office, but if I did do that, those would also appear here. You'll notice that it's also addressing it to a current resident and apartment number here. So basically it is targeting that building. And again, if this was just sold, I would probably just change that to say just sold if I was prospecting the building. But I just wanted, that just use that as an example so you can see what it looks like. The only thing left for me to do now is going to make a payment, and that will set that up to be sent out, and then I'm all set. And we'll just leave that. So yeah, as I'm sort of wrapping up now, I want to just quickly go into the YouTube channel, and I want to just show you what the YouTube channel is. So if you want to rewatch this video later, you can find it. So I'm going to go to channel. Our channel is called Bergen County Partners, and this is where all our YouTube resources are going. So my classes, if there's any sort of additional live streams going on, we post them in here as well. So in addition to me streaming this to Facebook, I'm going to have this posted on YouTube. And I just like to always show this at the end of my classes so everybody realizes that we have this because it's awesome. We did go over 300 subscribers. Let's get that up to 400 or higher. Yeah, I mean, does anybody have any additional questions before I wrap up? All right, great. So as I said, I'll post this on YouTube later. And if there was any additional questions, you can feel free to reach out to me via text or email. And I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their Monday. Take care.